Recently I had played Journey by developer That Game Company. It was a game that I had wanted to play for a while now since it had received so much praise. I was blown away with how good it was. Because of that, I decided to look into the developer's previous games, starting with their first, flOw. Even though the two games are completely different from each other, flOw still had the same charm as Journey did. I'm not sure how much marketing or word of mouth there was when it first released, but as of now there seems to be no one talking about it. I would argue Journey is a more complete game, but flOw has aged very well from when it released in 2007 on the PlayStation 3. It has since been ported to the PlayStation Portable, PlayStation Vita, and the PlayStation 4, that being the version I played. Let me explain the game before I go into why it works. The game starts immediately after a small briefing of the controls. You play as an aquatic creature whose goal is to get to the bottom. You can eat food or other creatures, and you can be eaten by certain creatures as well. Eating the red moving creature brings you down to the next level, while the blue creature brings you back up. Eventually, you make it to the bottom layer, and the creature's campaign is over, and you can play again with a different creature right away. It doesn't sound like that novel of a concept, yet it seems to accomplish what a lot of games nowadays don't. When That Game Company develops a game, they think of what emotion or feeling they want the player to experience and then work from there. In Journey, they wanted you to have a sense of wonder and awe in your surroundings. They wanted to show you the positive side of humanity, and they wanted players to experience a typical hero's journey that went beyond the usual defeat, kill, win mentality in most games. Most people, like me, would say they succeeded in those goals, and did so without uttering a single word. In flOw, the director of the game, Genova Chen, wanted to test seamless dynamic difficulty adjustment in a game and use it to get players to experience the concept of flOw. FlOw is basically feeling completely immersed in your activity. Feeling engaged in a game to the point where you fully immerse yourself in it is something that is hard to come by, which is why I think flOw is such a success. Every part of the game is there to pull you in and keep your attention. For example, advancing to the next level could have easily just happened automatically or have been done with a button prompt. Instead, the game requires you to seek out and eat a small red creature. One player might want to eat everything in the level, but maybe another would want to speed through it and advance as fast as possible. Certain levels can be so challenging that the goal may be to plan out a path to get to the red creature before being eaten. There are even a few levels where the red creature is constantly being eaten by other larger creatures, and getting to it before they eat it creates a whole new type of challenge. And just having the element of eating to advance, many gameplay possibilities and player freedoms emerge, and it makes sure the gameplay is never interrupted. There is also, in the background, always a preview of the next layer. This is useful for quite a bit of reasons. For players wanting to take their time and eat everything, the in-between levels, with no harmful creatures and only food, is great. For players who want to speed through everything and maybe eat nothing, this level isn't a waste of time, as they can just find the end of the level and map a path to the end of the next one as they do it. On a more basic level, this allows players to get an idea of what's in store before they advance down at all times. I also have to give some credit to the motion controls as being a lot of why the game was so easy to lose myself in. I am generally not a fan of motion controls, with this being one of the exceptions. The only way to move is by tilting the controller, while the analog sticks do nothing. There is no way to change the controls, and at first, I was not okay with that. Eventually, I got the hang of it, and it wasn't bad at all. In fact, it added to the gameplay. I am most times in favor of having more options in games, but since the option to configure the control scheme wasn't there, I just learned to use the motion controls. Instead of feeling tacked on, they help achieve the main goal of the game. Playing in the initial Flash version of the game doesn't feel as immersive because of it. The visual and sound design of the game was enhanced from its Flash roots as well. Specifically the lighting and color contrast from beginning a campaign to when it ends. It starts off very light in most cases, then gradually gets darker and darker the more you go down, the last level being nearly all black, giving you the feeling that you progressed a long way down. On the audio side, when eating food, another cell is added, which causes a little bit of music to play as your creature pings all the current cells it has. The more you have, the longer it goes for. It's a small touch, but it feels really nice when your creature gets larger and more elegant, since you can not only see how much your creature has grown, but also hear it as well. The amount of content in the game is pretty good. There is enough variety in gameplay and design to make each creature and campaign feel unique. I'd say it takes about as long as Journey, and with about the same level of replayability, especially if you play it again with a friend. Most think the multiplayer is tacked on, but I had quite a bit of fun with it. You can pick up a controller and join in right away, and all players are able to pick any creature they like. There are even some elements in the game that seem to be designed for multiplayer in mind. Eating a certain creature causes the player to enter an aggressive red mode, which enables friendly fire when playing with multiple people. This can be both very funny and very unfortunate when it happens. The campaigns that are included with the add-on add a lot of difficulty, and it can become extremely hectic trying to finish it with someone else, and I mean that in the best way possible. Overall, this is a game that I respect, and one I wouldn't have played if I didn't look up the developer after playing Journey. If there's a game you really respect and haven't tried any of the developer's previous games, I would recommend trying it out. You might find a game you really like, or you might just see the pitfalls that help the developer grow. At the very least, I hope you enjoyed getting to know a game called flOw. Thank you for watching, and have a great day.